Here's an interesting thing. We talk about the fallacies in the logic train on the ideological fallacies and contradictions in some of these left and right policies. Here's one that baffles me. I find most of the time people on the left who are very much pro-choice, okay? They believe that, even to the point where they're like, call it another person, call it a baby, we don't care. It should be the woman's right to choose. All right, and I've heard that. So they're not even calling it a fetus anymore. They're saying it is a baby. Even if it is a baby, the woman has a right to choose. These same people most of the time are also adamantly against the death penalty. Why do you think that is?
I mean, dude, it comes down to when I was talking to you about, I wonder between the left and the right if what people believe is what the main narrative is. So, for instance, when masks were like a Republican thing or whatever, apparently it was kind of that way. I saw the most liberal people I know being like, I'm not going to wear one of those stupid masks. Like, that sounds like a crazy Republican conspiracy theory guy thing. And then it flipped. So I think it's whatever the media is telling them to think at the moment, and maybe that could be something for the right, because there's no way to justify it.
What confuses me is you've got a completely innocent potential child, a developing child, right? Someone who's done no wrong, done no harm of any kind. And then anybody on the death, who's on the death penalty, has been convicted, and let's be honest, the overwhelming majority of them have been rightfully convicted. Their sentences do not need to be overturned. They did some heinous crime. So you've got the same people who are adamantly for the woman's right to end this life inside them if they choose, who are also adamantly against the death penalty of someone who has committed a heinous crime. How does that even make sense? That's something I find baffling. It's like, how does that make sense?
It's why I mentioned so much like the left and right mindset, the conservative liberal mindset, is because I truly believe to be on the left, like you don't have to be dumb. You're not dumb because you're on the left. You either have not thought about it enough, you don't know the facts, or you're a wreck as a person. Your mental health state, and being someone who is suicidal, I can relate to that. You are not in the right spot, and that is why I'm a conservative. I cannot call myself on the like. So you want to save people that are murderers, but also, like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
See what I wonder is if it's an active rebellion against Judeo-Christian value. Like I wonder if they're so adamant against the death penalty. At times I wonder if it's just to sort of spit in the face of Judeo-Christian values. I wonder if it's like an anti-establishment kind of like all of these arbitrary laws were put in place on some biblical sort of standard or some religious type standard, some infusion of religion and government that we're opposed to anyway, so there shouldn't be any death penalty.
So everybody my age, around age 30, is going to have, I would say they're going to have teenagers in the next 10 years. The lack of this Judeo-Christian God thing is going to present itself in full force, in absolute full force of like this whole, you can do whatever you want, there's no rules. Also, like this logic, like it's going to present itself as a problem in full force when the crazy people I went to school with, who they grew up in dysfunction, and now they're like clearly rebelling against Christianity.
And they have kids of their own.
Their kids are going to be teenagers. Yeah. They all have kids of their own. Like I'm pretty behind the train. Now, granted, I understand my situation.
I mean,
and I don't feel bad about that.
They have kids of their own that are mature.
Everybody that I went to high school with has like 5 to 7 year olds now. At least they have a 5-year-old or 7-year-old or several, and they're going to become teenagers in the next 10 years. And the full force of this, there is no God, there's no rules. You just kind of try to be a good person on your own because humanity is good. That belief system is going to present its problems in full force. I think that's why I don't really have a solution to an answer to your question, because there's no way to think that way other than, there's no moral grounds. We have no moral grounds. Don't discipline our kids. We're not going to discipline our kids because, we don't want to do the abuse thing.
Because disciplining your kids comes from the Judeo-Christian background.
Yes.
I mean, it's Solomon and Proverbs that says disciplining your kid is okay. We got to rebel against that hardcore because that's not
your
right.
Your child is another autonomous being, and you should have no right to tell that autonomous being what to do. That's their.
Why try to mold and construct our children to fit and adhere to and be a productive unit of a system, of a culture and a social system that we think is just completely corrupt, is just an evil patriarchy? Like, why should we ever for 1 second begin to try and mold and shape our children into a productive element of that society?
There is, and this is the problem, is we have people who have raised kids on, they don't even know what they believe, and they're super confused, and their kids are going to be confused. And when their kids have kids, like, holy crud. This is why I jumped back into Christian music and why I jumped back into Christianity so hardcore this year, is because I'm like, the world they need this.
Dude, we joke and we call our kids turds. We say, hey, you turds, let's go. That's one of our jokes. So much so that Griffin one day at the table was joking, and he said, I can't wait. He was, I guess, 4, but he's like, I can't wait till I'm a grown-up so I can have a couple of turds of my own. But I think the majority of our culture that is embracing these broken logic ideologies is probably going to wake up one day and be legitimately, I have raised a couple of turds.
Full.
I have genuinely,
dude,
raised a couple of adult, non-functioning idiot turds.
Dude, I have, there is a lot of my background that like was really messed up when I grew up, but like the one thing that I still think gave me my dreams, my music stuff, was the church element. Regardless of all the stuff that when I was brought up that people got wrong, the church and the Jesus thing, the at least identity and that separated me from these crazy high schoolers I went to high school with in public high school.
Well, I mean, and I will say, in the age of identity politics, in the age of your social group matters more than your individual identity. In that age, I can think of a lot of worse social structures and social clubs to be a part of than a good church.
Cliff, go join the protesters down in Louisville. They're super nice.
Maybe if I had tried a few more psychedelics in my day and something like that, I would be a little bit more enlightened to the truth.
They're not at all going to destroy the Louisville economy and to where everyone that voted for that whole regime starts complaining that Louisville's destroyed. They're not going to do that at all.
We got to get you out of there.
Go join.
We got to get you out of there.
The first set income that I can get, I am out of here.
Man.
The first set amount of income I can get out of here.
Oh, man. Louisville, we got nothing against you except everything.
Gosh. Man, if I get like anywhere on the Christian music market and they're like, so where are you from? Oh, man.
We're going to change the border of Indiana and Ohio and just let them consume, just dip down and consume the city of Louisville, and Kentucky's okay with it.
And the
we're all right with that.
Surrounding area.
And the surrounding areas.
Lord, there's about a 40-mile radius that the Death Star just needs to come down on.
Oh, man. When's that big asteroid coming? That's what they're saying.
It's sad because I mean it. If I could do that without anybody dying.
Oh, dude. Without anybody dying. If I could just blow up. I just close my eyes and just pray to the Lord. Lord, I won't tell a soul. I won't tell a soul that you did it. It just happened. Nobody gets hurt.
We all just relocate magically and everybody decides to become a better person.
Just wake up in a bunch of rural towns scattered across the United States, and they're like, "What happened to us?"
Let's teach you how to. Let's stop being criminals, and let's learn how to go to church and follow Jesus.
Oh man! If you're on the left or the right, and you're not exactly sure why it is you think what you think, or why you have the opinion you have, you may want to question it before putting it in the comments. Anyways, You're awesome, and keep being awesome because that's how he made you.